Okay, so one of my subscribers asked me to get into the pros and cons of buying rented property. I've already done that in another video. This one, I'm going to talk about the real handover. Okay, how to actually do a handover of a property that's completely rented, and the pros and cons, and make sure that you don't discover any minefields along the way. To understand more, watch the video to the end. My name is Fahd Dawood. I talk about real estate, Dubai, internationally, your life, my life, and our path to allowing financial abundance coming to us. Okay, so check this out. I didn't actually really consider this, and I hadn't thought about this completely, but it is true. When you're buying a property that's previously rented in Dubai, there are certain risk factors, certain minefields that you need to navigate appropriately to be able to get from A to Z without any financial damage to you, or emotional or physical, so on and so forth. Now, the number one thing that you must do is actually, before the deal is done, so let's assume, okay, I'm going to write the first thing that you must do, meeting here, but let's just assume that you're in the process of negotiating and absolutely at the last, the final end of drawing up the sales and purchase agreement. Okay, a lot of agents still call them MOUs in Dubai. It's not the correct terminology, but it's okay. So let's say you're about to draw up the MOU. The price has kind of almost already been decided. The negotiations are almost towards the end. You've done them. At this stage, you must insist before signing up on the deal on meeting the tenant. Okay, now if you've got somebody who is a professional property manager or a company that you have in place, then ideally what you would tell the agent, the seller, or the agent representing the seller, that I would like to meet the tenant with the property manager who's going to be managing the property for me. Essentially what you're doing is you're getting a feel of the situation. Now again, you're not going to get married to the tenant. You're not going to be creating a great, don't have to create a great relationship. You just need to have a professional business owner customer relationship with the tenant. But essentially speaking, what you're doing in the meeting is assessing the tenant and the situation, because definitely you don't want to buy a property where the tenant's not really good, right? Not really awesome. And this has to be done before the deal is done, okay? Before the deal is done. Number two, you need to understand the law in Dubai or whichever country, city you're buying a property. Now, back in the day, 2006, 2005, 2006, 2007, tenants didn't have a lot of rights in Dubai, okay? Because it was the first time, due to the freehold boom that Dubai had witnessed, Dubai had noticed properties in the freehold market changing hands very frequently, and rents were kind of like creeping up super fast. So we had a lot of situations where people would buy the same property 3 times or 2 times in a particular year. Now, obviously, it's not very fun if you're a tenant in one of those properties and each time a new owner buys, he comes and tells you to either vacate the property because he wants to live in it, or he wants to rent it out to somebody else for 20,000 dirhams higher, right? And you as the tenant goes like, you have a choice. Either you pay him the 20,000 extra, or you move to another similar apartment, which is going to cost you 20,000 more anyways, plus the moving expenses of 20 to 30,000 dirhams, depending on what kind of apartment you're moving, okay? Dubai came in with a great law. I think it came into fruition in 2007 or 2008, which essentially protects the tenant without a 12-month notice and without giving them 3 reasons on why they must vacate. 1, you want to sell the property, okay? 2, you want to live in the property yourself or somebody which is a very close relative of yours, father, son, etc., and you don't have any other property that they could live in Dubai. 3, the property needs absolute care for it to not be harmful for the tenants, which generally speaking isn't the case because most properties in Dubai are fairly newly built, right? And we aren't like in 500-year-old houses or buildings which need to be torn down and refurbished for the safety of the tenants. So essentially speaking, there's only two reasons. You want to sell the property or you want to rent it out. And for both, you need to give them a 12-month notice for them to move out, and the notice has to be given through the notary public. Now, this isn't the point that I wanted to concentrate on. The law that I wanted to share with you, now I'm not a lawyer, so there is a disclaimer, right? But what I wanted to share with you is essentially speaking, the relationship that the old landlord slash seller had with the tenant, you as the new landlord and the tenant inherit the same relationship, okay? The same relationship. If the tenant was renting at 100,000 in 4 checks, you now, Mr. Landlord, new buyer, are going to inherit the same relationship. It's going to be the same contract with the same conditions, same number of checks, and the same rent. So you need to understand what is going on, right? You're inheriting the same relationship. If there are risks involved in that the old landlord had, which he perhaps unknowingly had taken on, you're gonna be getting the same risks, the same liabilities transfer over to you. Also, something that you must do at this stage is you must prepare a new contract, new checks, and the security deposit must be exchanged with you at the time of transfer. So if you are a new the new buyer who's now going to become the new landlord, what ideally should happen is, as the relationship changes hands, because now the old seller or the old landlord gets phased out and you essentially come in. Now, essentially speaking, what can happen is, because the law says that you inherit the same relationship, so technically that agreement stays. This is my opinion, and it's not a lawyerly opinion. That agreement that was with the old landlord, you inherit it, and it stays the same until the year end or whenever the tenancy expires. But that's not the best way to go about this. Essentially speaking, in the meeting that you have with the tenant or your property management company has with the tenant, you should establish the fact that you would like for the remainder of the year a new contract to be signed. Obviously, you want all the checks to be now signed over to you. And if in this meeting the tenant goes berserk and says, I'm not going to write new checks because that's more liability on me. Some tenants just don't understand the process and they'll get scared. Well, guess what? If you buy the apartment or the villa or the property, but the checks were written in the old landlord's name, essentially they're useless for you, because every time the check has to go and get deposited in the old landlord's bank and then he's got to transfer money to you. Needless to say, that's a risk that you don't want to take, right? And then the security deposit needs to be given to you. Let's say the tenant has a 10,000 dirham, 20,000 dirham, or 100,000 dirham security deposit with the old landlord. That needs to be transferred to you, because when the tenant vacates the property, you're going to be inheriting, you're going to be responsible for returning that deposit to the tenant minus any charges for upkeep of the apartment. There could be a clause in the old agreement that there is no penalty if the tenant wishes to leave and gives you 15-day notice. Remember, you are going to be inheriting the same agreement. So now if you need to include a new clause that says, no, Mr. Tenant, I would like you to please give me a 2 months notice if you still want the no penalty clause, or I'm going to give you a penalty if you terminate early. You got to negotiate that with the tenant and include that in the new contract that you do. Number 4, you must get originals. In Dubai, there's an ijari. You must get originals of passport, visa, etc. All the originals as much as possible. Okay. Number 5, you should, in my recommendation, you should get a management company that is professional, at least for the first year, to manage this relationship with this tenant. Unless you're a veteran investor and you know absolutely what you're doing, you don't want to pay the fees, and you've got the time to manage an apartment. Okay. Last but not the least, you should do a 3 months, 6 months, 9 month walk through a visit. a gentle, kind visit of the apartment to record the condition. Okay, actually, what should have happened is right when you were doing the meeting, you should have recorded the condition of the apartment, and then every 3, 6, 9 months you record the condition of the apartment again. Now obviously these are just simple guidelines. There's only 6 points over here, but obviously when you're actually in that situation, you gotta need some professional help. Reach out to us, we can help you. We can charge a fee for it. If you want, there's a contact form at the bottom. Ciao for now. Keep the questions coming. I love answering them, and if they can help you, look, if you need free help from me, YouTube is the forum. You ask me a question and I'll help you, and tons of others get benefit from it. If you want specific customized help, there is a fee I charge, right, for my services, and you can get in touch with me on the contact form below. Ciao for now. Bye.